Okay, I admit it. I don't know what's going on. Hi, I'm back. Well, isn't that exciting? I know I'm excited. Actually, I had a lot going on. I apologize for the brief hiatus. I'm back. I'm hoping to produce more regularly, so that'll be good. Let's see, what's going on? Well, first off, I have been doing some contributions. Hey, English language. Lovely thing. I need to use it better. I've been doing contributions to a new site called Shoost.co, which is a site dedicated to covering indie gaming. So if you're interested in indie gaming, you might want to go check out that site. I've been contributing some reviews and some news articles, and some of my friends have as well. It's coming along nicely, and I definitely recommend that you go check it out. Now, why am I back? Because I want to make videos. Okay, that was a short conversation, I guess. I think the thing that needs to be brought up front is I've got some new material that I'm going to be reviewing soon. Somebody asked me to do some reviews of their material, and I feel pretty good about doing that. I will generally try to avoid reviewing material that I hate, that I don't enjoy, that I'm not having fun with. And there are a lot of reasons for that, mainly because being negative is kind of lame at times. Not gonna lie. Being negative is kind of lame. And part of it is that, I still want to work in the industry to a certain extent. And, that guy I may be reviewing, might be sort of going over his stuff. And if I'm really harsh about his stuff, he's probably not going to work with me. In fact, a lot of people won't want to work with me because I'll get a reputation for being harsh. So that's certainly a factor. And also, I don't want to waste my time on something I dislike. I don't want to waste your time with something I dislike. And I don't want to get pressed to something that I think is bad. So you won't see me reviewing things that I just absolutely despise. You will occasionally see me do reviews of things I think are marginal, but have interesting things about them. I will probably be doing that in the future. But most of the time, I'll be sticking to stuff that I like talking about. So, if I think that, there is something to be said for critique. And I will try and be, clinical and precise in my critiquing of material at times. But I'm not going to be like zero punctuation. It's fun to watch. I enjoy watching them. But, it's just not where I'm going to go. Now, that said, I do actually plan on doing an episode in the near future about some games that are just flat out bad and talk about why they're flat out bad. But these are games that a large majority of the gaming populace think are probably flat out bad. So I may do that at some point. But that's not what I'm going to be doing in the near future. I've got some review material in. for a couple of games from an English company, and they look really cool. And I'm going to be reviewing those. Now, what am I going to talk about this episode? This episode, beyond my sort of rambling about where I've been and what I've been up to, I'm going to point you towards some Kickstarters that I've seen of late that I think need some attention. Now, part of the reason I'm doing that is because, well, I'm broke. I can't afford to contribute to pretty much any Kickstarter at this point, which is a shame. I'm not going to lie. But it's stuff that I think should get made, and I want them to get, whatever push that they can get. And also, I occasionally just like to talk about stuff that I'm interested in. Because, have I mentioned I ramble sometimes? Yeah, right. So, right on to the Kickstarters. Let's start with the first one on my list. And bear in mind, this is not in order of priority. And I will be including links in the show notes if you want to go check them out yourselves. The first one is AMP, Year One, a modern supers RPG from Third Eye Games. This looks like a really interesting take on superheroes as a setting, where you're starting out with superpowers and you get to be the hero or villain, but it's more about the real choices of being heroes and villains as opposed to, a beat-em-up kind of game. A lot of the superhero games end up being beat-em-up kind of games. You get to be cool, and look, I have powers, and I can go beat up the bad guy. Which, don't get me wrong, a lot of fun. I love me a superhero game. I really do. But it is nice to see somebody trying to take an approach that seems to be focusing on sort of the internal conflicts involved in being a superhero, which are, in a lot of ways, the interesting part about comic books. So, I think this one's definitely worth taking a look at. The next one I'm going to talk about is one called Project Dark by Will Hindmarch. Now, Project Dark is a stealth game for tabletop role-playing where you are playing like rogues and thieves, I guess, where it's hiding in shadows and, think like the game Thief, or more modern equivalent might be the Splinter Cell series and such, stealth game mechanics from video games, but directed towards a tabletop fantasy role-playing game. Definitely worth taking a look at. Next up is Mutant Chronicles, 3rd edition RPG by Chris Birch over Modiphius. Modiphius? Is that it? I think it's Modiphius. These guys have actually turned out a wide range of cool things in recent times on Kickstarter projects. They did Octung Cthulhu, so that was actually kind of well regarded. They've got Mindjammer, which is coming out, which is sort of a transhumanist science fiction setting. Octung Cthulhu is Cthulhu during World War II. Nazis dealing with elder horrors from beyond space and time. They have Dust Adventures, which is the role-playing game based off of the war game Dust. And Mutant Chronicles is actually an old property that you may have heard of. It was a big deal. It was kind of a competitor to Warhammer 40k, but it had a different feel to it. It was a different take on a similar sort of setup, and this is the role playing game for it. So you should definitely go check that out. And I'm going to stop for a moment. Right. Where was I? Mutant Chronicles, 3rd edition. Yeah. They have a Kickstarter. You should go check it out. I will be talking more in depth about that later, I think. The thing with Mutant Chronicles is it was very big during a certain age in gaming. And it's not Warhammer 40k. It kind of looks like it a little, but it's not. It's a very different thing in and of itself. It's a little more diesel punk, a little more World War One-ish looking, I guess. And while it has some similarities to Warhammer 40k, it's not. It's its own thing, and you should definitely check it out. They're doing a Kickstarter right now. They've already reached their goal, but every bit you put in helps them make it a bigger and better thing. So definitely check them out. Now, the last one I'm going to talk about, as far as the Kickstarters, is Zeppelin Attack by Evil Hat Games. Zeppelin Attack is a game where you play one of the bad guys from Spirit of the Century in your Zeppelin and your army of minions, and you're all competing. It's kind of a card dueling game, and buying into the Kickstarter, get you a full box and you play your cards against each other, and it looks really cool. And it's one of those ones, all of these are, gee, I wish I had more money so I could contribute to them and enjoy the fruits of that particular labor. Evil Hat always turns out good stuff. It's always worth checking it out, and I definitely recommend it. Now, as far as the Kickstarters go, those are the ones I'm aware of at the moment that I find myself going, gee, I wish I could get some. There's another one called Iron Edda, but I think it's just about closed. So by the time you watch this, you may not see it. But if you watch this in time, go contribute to Iron Edda. It looks really cool. It's sort of an inclusive version of Norse mythology. Norse mythology is really interesting stuff. It really is. And making a setting that is based off of Norse mythology sounds like a great idea, except, well, real Norse mythology was maybe a little sexist. Real Norse culture was a little sexist. And a little racist, honestly. It's not that those cultures were, the burn the cross sheet wearers that we're familiar with as racists in this age, but they were isolated and clannish, and if you weren't one of them, you were, inferior because you were weak or what have you. This does not normally make for an inclusive setting. Iron Edda sets about to correct that, and I think you should check it out. Even if the Kickstarter is done by the time you watch this, it's certainly worth checking out the product once it comes out. Beyond Kickstarter, there is a new thing out called Patreon, which is interesting. The idea behind it is you set up an agreement to pay a certain amount anytime a creator makes something. This is something a lot of YouTube people are doing. Yay, YouTube! But it's an interesting model because, you know, for instance, if say Scott Bradley Loves You, which is a Patreon guy, if you contribute so much every time he puts up an episode, he might reveal extras for you, and it helps keep him going. If they're popular and they have, you know, 1,000 guys putting in $1 a month, well, they're making $1,000 a month to do what they're planning on doing anyway. But that suddenly makes it a viable way of making a living. It's a neat idea. It's kind of like Kickstarter, but it's instead of one lump sum, it's every time I do something, give me a little something. It's value for value. And there are a bunch of them out there that I'm fond of. There's even one or two that I've actually contributed to because it is small amounts rather than large lump sum. It makes it a little more affordable for me. Fate Codex is one. And the nice thing about these Patreon things is they don't have a time limit. So if you discover one that you like, you can go and sign up and agree to pay a certain amount. And the more people they get to do that, the more time and energy they can spend on that project to make it more interesting. I definitely recommend Fate Codex. If you're a Fate core player, Fate Codex is really a neat idea. It's essentially a PDF magazine where the organizer of it gets, you know, guest writers come in and write stories, game settings, some rules advice, and what have you for Fate Core. And the first one is already out, and it's definitely worth checking out. And I think if you look at spending $2 to get this PDF magazine, you're not really losing out on anything. You're not spending too much to get what you're getting. You're actually getting a deal. And if he gets more and more people in, he can do things like add color art and nifty covers for the PDFs and things like that. Be able to afford to pay for more writing and things like that. And that's how that service works. So definitely check out Patreon and see if there are things there. I had considered doing Patreon stuff for my YouTube stuff, but I've decided that I'm going to at least wait until I have more than, say, 30 or 40 people watching, because I love my 30 or 40 people, but it seems weird to ask 30 or 40 people to shell out money to have me make a show. Now, if I have like 100 shows out, a few thousand people watching, I may reassess that. But right now, it's a thing. Right. When was I? Oh, right. I was going to wrap this up because I'm already going long. Because I'm a crazy person who can't stop rambling. Why? Why is that? Oh, right. I will catch you guys next time, probably with a review. So that'll be fun. Woohoo! See, oh, right. Like the video, subscribe. I've got all kinds of the socials, you know, the Google Plus, Twitter. I've got a Tumblr account. I've been posting stuff to the Tumblr account. You should go check it out. Tumblr is awesome. No, it's okay actually. My Tumblr is decent. I've been sharing stuff that I found interesting anyway. I've got an Instagram. If you want to check me out on Instagram, I'll put links and everything. And I'll put links to all of the Kickstarters and Patreon stuff that I've talked about on this episode. And yeah, tell your friends. See ya.